Hello, is there anybody out there? See who turns up. Okay. Hello, who's there? Brilliant, 2 thumbs up. Well, it's a special stream today because been writing a song, Chilly. Been writing a Christmas song with the missus. So, I'm gonna play it. It's rough. But she's reactivated herself, which is a bit frightening. Just turn the compression down on my mic. Right. So, yes. So I've just been like working on sort of new content for the coaching, right? So, and I'm kind of gearing it all towards making an album, like a body of work, rather than just loads of work. So I was just playing with another one of those kind of free writing thought exercises, and part of that was just an extension of a usual exercise that I do, which was just trying to describe how you imagine the album sounding and influences and all this kind of stuff. And I went back to sort of my indie phase, indie rock. And I think part of this is because I've been listening to the Rick Beato interview with Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins, and then that set me off listening to Swerve Driver again, then listening to My Bloody Valentine, and then kind of relating it back to a kind of vaporwave sound. So anyway, I was doing this massive free, right, and then I was coming up with that stuff, and Sharon, my other half, she was in the room. She said, "Oh, what you writing about? What is it?" And then I was telling her about the album. She went, "Oh, that sounds good. What's like vaporwave?" So I just played her some loop examples of it that I had, and she went, "Oh, that's good. I've got a lyric for it." And then immediately she piles in, grabs this mic, and then she's like, "It's not on. This isn't very good." And immediately all my studio is inadequate. It's not on. And then I switch it on. Then straight away she's like, "There's no effects. What's going on?" And from that point, it was just like absolute chaos. I had this one loop that I'd randomly chucked in my project. Everything was like, she gets involved, totally disorganized. But anyway, I managed to kind of organize the chaos. And it was interesting because she hasn't really done anything properly for a very long time. I don't know if you know this, Chili, but she had a record deal. That's how we met. I ended up playing in a band. And it's a long, entertaining story, that one. But that was back in the 90s. That was early 90s. So she had a record deal. Very quirky. She's very strange when she does stuff. So she's gone back to her because she vocalizes. She doesn't. It's like this vocalizing thing, and she sings sometimes from a male perspective, although she's female. And she doesn't sing about love, or she does, it's something, So she's wrote this song, and it's called Blackout. And I must admit, I think she's drawing inspiration probably from our younger writing days when we used to drink and our lifestyle and those feelings. Although I must admit, back in the day, we were free. But it's a wonderful Christmas song to listen to. So I'm going to play it, right? I'm going to play it, but because I've got to combine it in to what I'm doing. So I've done a list of various things, and because this is like really a splurge, it's gone into draft, right? So it really hasn't had an official drafting phase, so there's like lots of bits kind of knocked together. There's one really weird bit in it, right, where my daughter's been listening to the Smiths, right, which I don't like, but then there's a Morrissey lyric which is saying like, I'm not happy, but I'm not depressed, or something like that. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. What does that sound? So I tried to make it in this track something that's like, emotionally complicated and a bit disturbed, potentially. So in the drafting phase, really what it's about is we're looking for the emotional journey in a track. So not just like little bits of emotion, but the overall purpose. There is a purpose there. There is a story. But we're having a look at how the music sort of sits up to that, interestingly enough. What that emotional journey is now, and how that can be then moulded to augment the track and the vocals even more. So the way to do this, right, is a direct listen. So you're just listening to the track, and I'm sure you've caught me doing the direct listening stuff before, and I've explained it. So there's different flavours. It's like listening to the notes in between. There's listening to an element of the track. There's a global focus, which is probably the one I'm going to do today, where, I'm just going to widen my vision and try and take in as much information as I can. Okay, but while I'm doing that, I'm just going to draw a graph of how the emotions kind of move, okay, as best as I can. And actually, the direct listen I'm going to do to go with that I find works really well is actually just noticing your body sensations with the music. So that's the direct listening we're doing. We're going to notice body sensations as as the music plays, and I'm just going to do a graph as that goes along. And then we can see how that helps us. There has been an extensive drafting list done as well, which we need to go through and then work out, using the Eisenhower matrix type thing that I have in my head. Phone call coming in. Using the Eisenhower matrix, we're going to work out, what's going to have the most impact and least effort, and what's kind of for the listener. So you want stuff that's the highest impact for the least effort for you, and then we want to avoid things that's like, low impact and massive effort for us. So a bit like that. I normally do it on a grid on this matrix, but I don't do that anymore. I just do it in my head with this list, and I'll just move the things I think are going to have big impacts up to the top, and it'll go down like that. But we're also juggling with a list where we're looking at the things that are going to help us in the tension and release. So I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense, Chili? I'm not rambling. Or have you left me? All right. So here we go. We're going to have a listen. I'll do my graph. And there we go. So we can have a look at the project now. Right, list. So these aren't strictly necessarily drafting stuff. So let's have a look. Keep the big kick running for 8 bars after the chorus and go to the drum machine. Right. Unmute vocals and pitch down. Intro loop. That can come a little bit further up. Calm hi-hat end loop. Right. Pitch bend on synth. Delay on 606 hi-hat. Just leave that there for now. Cut the breath off first verse. So I'm just looking for the drafting kind of stuff, structural things. Tom fills can come up a little bit. Repeat blackout chorus, so that's a big one. Change last line on the verse too. It's a shit show. Yep. Right, she'll have to do that later. Intro gap, short reverse. That's kind of small but important. Fade strings out and breakdown, that's quite important. Soothe the loop, vocoder 606 hi-hat. I want to try that out, so I'm going to stick that there. Breakdown before verse chorus, more dynamic. Right, I think we've got it. So blackout chorus repeat, so that's like a good example of hi there. Oh, hi there, Time Prophet. Right, let's have a look. What have you been up to? What have you been up to? Made my first drum beat in Reaper manually. Not bad for my first effort. Excellent. Great stuff. Yeah, so repeat the blackout chorus. That's something that's like, you know, not very much effort and big impact. Keeping the kick running. I'm not sure fully what that is. Breakdown before first chorus, more dynamic. That's the next thing. I'll also do that faded strings because that's easy. And that 106 can go in on the intro. Okay, and then we'll just see what happens as we work through it. So here we go. So I think the bit in question is this. Let's have a look. Blackout, 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 we'll be falling. So it's that section. That's easy to do. Duplicate time. Boom. Let's get the locators in and then. Oh, and then there was the piano bit. Let's see if that piano at the end goes with the... Right, we'll do that on here. Maybe something like that. He's getting that curve right. Okay. Done. Fade strings in on breakdown, right? Okay. I think it was this breakdown. Blackout, 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 blackout. So basically on every channel, two things I always have is a high pass and a low pass filter, and a volume. So I can just control the volume on automation, not on the master fader. So I can still just do an overall mix on the master, but within the channel there's a separate volume. Blackout, 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 blackout. Actually, that's so funny. Oh my god. It's the second verse that kills me. I mean, that comes, like, I mean, was our lives that bad? I mean, like, the Kill Bill, like a stillborn with the chord torn. Drunk the poison for a cheap thrill. Oh, what the lyrics? Drunk the poison for a cheap thrill. In this better lie still, watching Kill Bill like a stillborn with its chord torn. Sinking through the floor, it's crazy. My memories are pretty hazy from last night, but it's a new dawn. Yeah. Yeah, it's very dark. But there is too many songs about being in the club, isn't there? What year was Kill Bill? It's always dark in Newcastle, that's it. Right, okay, so we faded the strings. What else have we got? 2003. Okay. Intro loop. Fatter. Use brown bit. Using what? Juno 60. Right. Yes. I've started using as an alternative the Roland Cloud Juno 60. I absolutely love it. I think it sounds amazing. So that's the bass on this track. So I think what we'll do is we're going to attempt to make a sub out of it. So I think what I'll do is I'll just drop it on its own channel. I know it's not for everybody, Trello, but it absolutely, it serves a real purpose for me. So this is pitched down, and then it goes up to its original pitch for the last bit. Right, and then we're going to have to there's a few things we're going to have to do with this. Firstly is get shot of the envelope. God, I can't remember if it's, it must be this one. Okay, I think rather than using the high pass on here, so it was a bit. So that was my listening map, by the way. That's the map of the track, which which is very useful because this is one of the bits that came up.
Thick bro.
Oh.
Thick bro. Thick bro. Thick bro. Thick bro. This long, it's a no-show, cause this is sick bro. What you got this long, it's a no-show, cause this is sick bro. What you this morning I will wake up, sleeping through another breakup. Now I've crashed out. Eyes open, now it's daunting, like a ghost without a haunting. Feeling this low, it's a no-show, cause this is sick bro. What you gonna do when I switch the lights at the lights at the lights at the lights at the thick bro, thick bro, thick bro, thick bro. This low, it's a no-show, cause this is sick bro. What you gonna do? Thick bro. This low, it's a no-show, cause this is sick bro. What you gonna do when I switch the lights out, lights out? What you gonna thick bro? What you gonna do when I switch the lights out, lights out? There'll be no doubt, we'll be falling into blackout, blackout. What you gonna do when I switch the lights, switch the lights, switch the lights? Thick bro. What you gonna do this low? It's a no-show, cause this is sick bro. What you gonna do when I switch the light? Thick bro.
So bro's going to be changed to shit show. That's what she's going to put instead of that. Right.
Thick, 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 thick bro, thick bro, thick bro. What you gonna thick bro? What you gonna do, thick bro? Thick bro. Thick bro. Thick bro. Thick bro. What you gonna do, thick bro? What you gonna do when I switch the lights out, lights out? There'll be no doubt, we'll be falling into blackout, blackout. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when I switch the lights out, lights out? What you gonna do when I switch the lights out, lights out? There'll be no doubt.
Right. So that's that. That's done. I'll do this one now. Bend. Okay.
Drunk the poison for a cheap thrill. Drunk the poison for a cheap thrill. In this better bed.
Done. Right, so keep the big kick running for 8 bars after the first chorus, then go to drum machine. Right. I think this is something I might have tried and it didn't work. So, chorus.
What you gonna do when I switch the lights out? Lights out. There'll be no doubt. We'll be falling into blackout. Blackout. What you gonna do when I switch the lights out? Lights out. There'll be no doubt. We'll be falling into blackout. Blackout. Black. What you
I like the way it switches there into that.
What you gonna do when I switch the lights out? Lights out. There'll be no doubt. We'll be falling into blackout. Blackout. What you gonna do when I switch the lights out? Lights out. There'll be no doubt.
Okay, let's catch up on the chart. Oh, look, here we go. Hi, Thomas. Hello, D. Rich. Excellent. Good to see you on here. Sorry, I was, Oh well, enjoy your holiday when you get it, D. Rich. Being off to the 9th, that's pretty good. I go back on the 3rd. Right, so, okay, what am I doing? Let's have a look.
When I switch the lights out, lights out, there'll be no doubt. We'll be falling into blackout, blackout. What you gonna do when I switch the lights out, lights out? There'll be no doubt. We'll be falling into blackout, 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 blackout.
Hi, Goofy.
What you gonna do when
Right, I know what I'll try. What's it called? Eight. Far away.
you gonna do when I switch the lights out? What you gonna do when I switch the lights out, lights out? There'll be no doubt, be no doubt, be no doubt. Lights out, lights out. There'll be no doubt. We'll be falling into blackout, 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 blackout. What you gonna do Drunk the poison for a cheap thrill. In this better lie still. Watching Kill Bill. Drunk the poison for a cheap thrill. In this better lie still. Watching Kill Bill. Like a stillborn with its cord torn. Sinking through the floor, it's crazy. My memories are pretty hazy from last night, but it's a new dawn. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What you gonna do when I switch the lights out? Lights out, there'll be no doubt. We'll be falling into blackout, 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 blackout. We'll be falling, falling. Blackout, 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 blackout. We'll be falling, falling. Blackout, 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 blackout. We'll be falling, falling.
Hi there, Troubadour. Yes, different time to stream. All right, yes. So, D Rich, I'll message you on Discord, and I'll schedule you in for a session. No worries. It was something I was going to do today, believe it or not. Honestly. Right. And also, I've got the session worked out as well. Rich, we're gonna do some visualization exercises. It's gonna be lots of fun. So, how's everybody finding this track with vocals? Hope the vocalist isn't too scary. Right, coffee break. So, I'll just move the chat over here. Because as Thomas points out, I don't talk that much, but and the reason for that is I tie the live stream in with my making music, so literally the main heavy lift of all of my music making is done in the morning on the morning sessions. So you know that 5:30 till 7 o'clock. That's my other half, Sharon. back in the day, she had a record deal. It's amazing. But like now, she's not. She's a she's a lecturer. She's an academic in mobilities. Who would have thought? But she used to be an absolute wild rock indie kind of person. No, it's not me. Does she play? But yes, she plays like she plays guitar, but like not like properly or nothing. She just like she'll put a guitar in and strum D along with me playing lots of chords. She can do like a little kind of Iron Maiden impression. Just general thing like that. Tries to tap on the guitar, but like her nails are too long, so she has to do it at a weird angle like that. Yeah, it's how we met. I ended up in her band. So I ended up playing guitar, and actually it was because of her band, because it was like an electronic. It was called the Crisis Children, and because it was an electronic like crossover thing. That's how I learned actually to do sort of all the synths and things like that. Because I ended up doing that, doing that part of the band as well as the guitar and the writing. So that's what got me into it. And then we had various other bands. Well, after that, and we became more and more rock. And we had a weird sort of like geeky kind of hip hop phase that was part of our rock thing, which I really enjoyed. And I think Lita Ford, yeah. I think that voice there, because she's always interested in like a hip hop thing. That's where that comes from, and she's a real fan of what's he called? The guy who died? Mac Miller. She loves Mac Miller. And that whole kind of thing that she's doing there has been quite influenced from that. So she's got the singing thing, and as I say, she vocalizes it. It's like a character that she has, that she uses. It's quite quirky and interesting. So, but it's been good actually, because she hasn't sang for a very long time. So it's been really interesting watching her kind of grow into action. So I'm not sure where this is all going to lead. And I think when we did the initial splurge, I bounced it out for her, and then she was listening to it, and then she was like writing and getting the lyrics right and what have you, and trying stuff out. So it was interesting. Does Chili sing? Does he sing? I'd have to hear that. I mean, I really enjoy singing, but I'm not really a singer. But I can sing. Matters of the heart. Okay. Fair enough. So yeah, so we'll check the Trello list. It's all business with me, isn't it? No crack whatsoever. Just wanting to get back onto music. Love is a rainbow, yes. Well, those lyrics, that was wrote by Sharon wrote that. I didn't write it. Love is a rainbow. Yeah. I remember the lyrics. Love is a rainbow. Oh, it's gone. It's good. I really enjoyed singing that. Right. So yeah, it'll be I think. Well, it'll have to be a. Thomas has gone on and on about it. but I'm sure I could dust off the auto tune and sing it live. But I kind of wrote it when I was signed to Two Dutch, and I had this kind of weird idea that I'd be one of these singing DJs, you know. A bit where I'd come out and sing to everybody. But yeah, I would like to sing more. Chaz and what about? Well, it might sound like the Sex Pistols, Chili. You know, I'm a punk at heart. You know, I know there's all this shredding, but you know, I was like, when I was no age at all, I absolutely loved the Sex Pistols. And you know the video, like silly thing. When that came out, I loved that. That was a Christmas song actually for me when I was a kid, because one of the Sex Pistols on the video was like dressed up as Santa in a cot, and I just thought, oh, it's a wonderful. I was being about 4 or something. Wow, Depeche Mode legends. All right, multi-talented D. Rich Sink. Now that's interesting. Wow. Rich, I wonder if you've got. Have you recorded any vocals I could hear? Yeah, I'd like to hear that. So, does anybody want me? Anybody want to ask me anything to do with music production today? Because I'm fairly chilled out. I'm not as focused. I'm just, you know, pottering along with this track. So, if there's anything you need to know or want to know, feel free to ask, and I'll answer any questions. There is no question too silly. In fact, silly questions are good. Like sometimes, you know, it'll trigger me into a rant. And that's always entertaining, and then I talk for ages. Right, what am I looking for? Right, I've got my map. So I think what we'll do is I'm just going to run this track again, have a listen through. What I will say is, like, this is something you've got to be dead careful about, is like over listening to a track. All right, I'll check that out. How many keys chords do you normally use on your songs? That's a good question. Right, so one thing I would do, so early McRocklin and Hutch stuff, if we base it off that, because I was coming fresh from sort of the dance scene, there weren't, I didn't kind of structure songs with like different key changes in. It was just like a one groove all the way through, and what you do is you write the main part, the drop, the biggest part, and then you kind of just spread the parts out, and then you dynamically get it to work. So that's how I would normally do that. So a good example of that would be, did Distorted Dreams. It's just the same thing all the way through. In fact, most of them are. They're just the same thing. Or I'll do something where I'll just use the first chord and it'll just be like a monotone thing, and then the chord progression will come in. But then things started moving because you get bored of things, don't you? So then I started going back to writing tracks where there was some sort of modulation going in there. So I think Waiting for the Right Time would be one. So, it's got a proper chorus in it. Like, if I was writing a song for a singer, like a pop singer or something, it's very much like that. So, and usually the format will be for like the synthwavy kind of stuff. I'll write in the natural minor. If you're into modes, the Aeolian, right? So I'll tend to write things in the natural minor. Interesting enough, I've very rarely ever used the Dorian mode. So yeah, it's usually natural minor, and what I'll do is I'll modulate within that. And a common thing that I'll do is I'll modulate to the Lydian mode. So there you go. So, if you're in, we'll stick in A minor, there's no sharps or flats. So if we're in the natural minor, A minor would, like the chorus or something might go to the major, which would be the F major Lydian. Hi, Danny. There we go, talking theory. So that's like one of the devices I'll do. So I'll generally modulate diatonically within the key. But then things get really interesting because there's this other part that comes from sort of when I was doing weird tech house where I'm not bothered about the tunings of things, and I'll just go with the emotion. So in this track here, interestingly enough, so I was just talking before for Chili, right? So I'm working on some new course content, right? And it's all about writing an album, writing a body of work. So like usually what I do is it's just about churning tons of music, right? But what I'm doing is working on something, a process where you can make a body of connecting pieces of music, and part of that's just writing a manifesto or an oral fantasy of how you imagine it sounding. So I was just like working on an exercise for that, and I was just doing the first part of it, and I ended up kind of making this whole description of what it would be, and then that's how actually this track started. And generally what I'll find with that is I'm just bringing different sounds together. I'm not worried about the key. I just want to hear how they sound together. So funnily enough, my daughter's really into the Smiths at the minute. So I don't like the Smiths, but there was just like one of his lyrics, which is something like, Morrissey singing about not being happy but not being sad, whatever. And I thought, right, let's stick those two things together. So actually the loop that I have here is primarily in a minor key, but actually the melody on top's major, and it's got this very sort of weird, because remember we're singing about being black in blackout. So I'll just go from the bit before into it.
Blackout, 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 blackout.
So that was just, and then it was just this disturbed random instrumental break. So the interesting thing with that is it happened accidentally, really. So obviously I'm writing this manifesto about the, what I expect it to like sound like, what I'm aiming for like this body of work. And part of the influences were this kind of vaporwave, My Bloody Valentine. So I don't know if everybody's like familiar with the band My Bloody Valentine, but I mean they were a huge influence to like the shoegazing rock kind of indie band. And I was just reminded about it actually because I was watching a Rick Beardo interview with Billy Corgan. Obviously, the Smashing Pumpkins were really influenced by My Bloody Valentine, and it's just like the Loveless album's like really like it's just a really interesting piece of work to listen to, and I really get lost into it. But there is one bit where they have just this weird orchestral sample that they distort, and it's like kind of all wonky, and so subconsciously this has come from that as well. So doing this free write on all of these kind of different sounds and influences and putting them together kind of plays upon your subconscious, and these things kind of come out, and you tend to like want to go with them and not challenge them as much. Yeah, it's worth just having a listen to it. They've just got really interesting chord progressions and big funny walls of guitar sound, and he's doing this kind of weird bendy out of tune thing with his guitar trem. Sounds like they're speeding up and slowing the tape. It's that thing. So I mean, so to me, because my ear's conditioned to that, I'm like cool with it. Other people might not like that. They're like, oh, that's wrong. There's something wrong in there. So I'd be interested to see what you guys think. Do you think this is wrong? I mean, it's meant to be wrong, but it's meant to be wrong right, if you know what I mean. So that's like, that's an interesting one. But keep the questions coming in if you can. Right. Okay. Let's see where we're up to. Right, so we've done that one. Vocoder on the hi-hat. Right, okay. So let's try that. It's and then I'll have to work out what's next on that list. So on the verses. Now, what I'm using on the verses here is a Roland 606. And I really like the sound of the 606. It's really grungy, especially the kick. And you can make great sort of kick type bass sounds out of it. It's the precursor to the 808, isn't it? Because it's got like an 808 sound to it, but it's hugely limited. But when you get the Roland version, you can you've got gain on each drum hit, so you can distort it and stuff and make really cool sounds. Uses the 606, yeah. I think it's highly underrated, and it's something I forget about. Sadly, but then remember and then use it. I think, I should do more of this. But yeah, 606 is great. So Danny B, probably missed it, but could you tell us what your approach to drum programming is? I will do in 1 second. Now, I'm just going to do this thing, right, which will take a moment. There's a cool little trick if you've got like Ableton Live with shakers and hi-hats and stuff like that, is you can get the vocoder. I can find it. And just load it in. And that's it. And then we'll see if it works. That's on the hi-hat. Right. So we'll just solo that closed hi-hat. So that's how it sounds. And actually there's a load of lump on the bottom end of that. Now that's an interesting click from nowhere. Anyway. So put it on, watch what happens. Pretty cool, eh? I'm just gonna have to answer this phone call. So, hello, Sharon. I'm live, by the way. This is good because everybody's been listening to you singing. No, I'm not joking. No, everybody's been listening. Yeah. So this will probably be good television. Me, you know, having a conversation with you on here. No, they can't hear you. They can't hear you. Right. Yeah. So I'll just be another half hour here, and then I'll come over. All right. Okay then. All right then. All right. All right. Okay. Right. So where was I? So we'll give that a go.
Drop the poison for a cheap thrill. In this better lie still. Watching Kill Bill like a stillborn with its cord torn. Sinking through the floor, it's crazy. My memories are pretty hazy from last night, but it's a new dawn. Yeah.
Okay, so drum programming, the approach. So right. So high sky bass. Right. So the approach is this. What I've been using lately is OX. And literally I've got what I do, right, is if I'm sitting bored and I've got limited time, you can open this drum machine. It's a standalone, and what I'll do is I'll just literally splurge loads of drum patterns, and you can save them all, and then I'll use them as a starting point in a project. So I just make. I'm not thinking of anything in particular. So for this one, I remember that I wanted to just go through all the single hits on the Vaporwave sample packs that I have. So I just went through dragging some kits together and then programming some beats just to start off with. And this is a cool thing because what it does is this drum machine scans your whole hard drive, okay, your sample folder, and it loads in all the one shots so you can see them clearly on the map. And you can search for, I mean, at the minute, all the stuff that's in the red, that's like kick drums. And the higher you go up, the higher pitch they are, the lower down, the lower they are. And then I think if you go to one side, the longer, and the other side, the shorter. So like blues like snares, purples sort of like toms, yellows hi-hats, oranges bits of higher up percussion. So it just goes like that, and you've got this full constellation. You can just quickly flick through and find sounds, or you can search for sounds and it'll give you all the options. And it'll also suggest sounds that are very similar if you haven't quite got the right one. So it's just a great way to find new kits and stuff like that. Because I was getting bored of using the same one, which is really good. So I just wanted to widen the sound palette, but then I didn't want to get lost, right, in hunting for sounds and going through folders. So this is an absolute no-brainer. You can see everything in one go. I highly recommend it. Will Hutch also go polychrome? Yes, of course. I don't think there's any questions about it. I'm not showing it, that's correct. when I've been given permission. When Thomas gives permission, all will be revealed. Well, lots of things will be revealed. It'll be great because I'll just start, I can't really say too much, but what I will say, right, is it's in terms of like how it's laid out in the interface, it's like perfect for like how I work in projects. Yeah. Okay. So that that's like part of the approach. That's my main drum thing, and then I don't have any kind of like one shot crashes and stuff like that, or tom fills. That's just like the main hits. I have the crashes as audio on a separate channel, and I have two. I always use an 808 shimmer, which sounds like this, and I have like a crash, which is that. Now, and I've always stuck with those crashes. But mainly the reason I use the 808 shimmer is I have this thing called sonic signposts, and it's just things that you do in a production that are like always the same, that kind of signify A, the genre that you're in, and B, you. So it just makes you more recognizable. So this kind of shimmery 808, the way I use it dynamically in a track, it's kind of one of the giveaways. It'll be like a Hutch track. I mean, other things that I'll use sonic signposts of this stab. That tends to be in tracks as like a kind of hit that I'll use, and also the clap. There's loads of low end ringing out on that, isn't there? Look at that. Let's get rid of it. Yeah, so so sonic signposts, the way you use basses, and of course you'll have sonic signposts that are genre specific. So for example, like in synthwave, they tend to use a lot of those like 8th notes, 16th note style basses. But yeah, back to the drums. So the crashes are separate, and then toms will be separate as well. But the main beats, it's OX. And then for this track, because I just heard I needed some other contrasting drums away from this vaporwave, big kick, big snare sound. So I needed something kind of lo-fi, but I wanted to have something I could control the sound of. So I wasn't, because I had a very specific sound that I wanted. And to get to that, I needed to control all the dynamics and all that kind of stuff. So it just made sense to use the 606, which is that kind of lo-fi, unpretentious kind of drum machine sound, and then just be able to tweak it to make it fit the music.
What you gonna do when I switch the lights out, there'll be no doubt.
So when you hear it contrasts really well.
What you gonna do?
So it'll come in the second half of the verse.
There'll be no doubt. We'll be falling into blackout, 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 blackout.
So that's how that works. Yes, native complete control, 60k, lovely. What have I got? Might be 48 keys. They're decent though. Right. So let's check the. You see, this is why it's good to have a list, isn't it? You can keep going back to things, you tick things off, and you feel really good. Right, let's just have a look. Because the rest of it. Cut the breath on the last verse. I think I'll do that now because it's a little job we can do. These aren't drafting jobs, these are just jobs really.
Thick bro, thick bro, thick bro, thick bro.
Saying that, it's getting changed, this, isn't it? This lyric. I'll do it anyway, for now.
Bro, 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 bro. Watch, bro, bro, bro.
That'll do for now.
It's a no-show, cause this is sick, bro. It's a no-show, cause this is sick, bro. What you gonna do when I switch the lights out, lights out? There'll be no doubt. We'll be falling into blackout, blackout. What you gonna do when I switch the lights out, lights out? There'll be no doubt. We'll be falling into blackout, 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 blackout.
Cool. Oh yeah, I did that job as well, adding the piano. Done that. That's meant to be a delay on the 606 hi-hat. Now that might be interesting. Try that. Okay. Sorry. So all I'm doing there, I'll try it in ping pong. try that. So all I'm doing is using the filter. I just crack the wet and dry right up so I can just hear the effect, and then I just get the repeats on the delay just to sound a bit duller than the actual hi-hat, the dry version. And then what I've done is, instead of it being like ping pong bouncing either side, it's the two delays running in mono, and then to make that stereo, I've just pitched one out at a time by 15%. So we get a nice sort of Hass effect there. So the delays are wide. Now. Okay, that's all working good, and I think we're coming to the end now of the session. So I think that's it, guys. I think what we'll do is I'll have one listen all the way through. And then see if there's anything else I need to do. And I think that's it. I'll make a list and then we're done.
This morning I will wake up, sleeping through another breakup. Now I'm crashed out. Eyes open, now it's daunting, like a ghost without a haunting. Feeling this low, it's a no-show, 'cause this is sick, bro. What you gonna do when I switch the lights out, lights out? There'll be no doubt we'll be falling into blackout, blackout. What you gonna do when I switch the lights out, lights out? There'll be no doubt we'll be falling into blackout, 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 blackout. Trump the poison for a cheap thrill. In this better lie still. Watching Kill Bill like a stillborn with its cord torn. Sinking through the floor, it's crazy. My memories are pretty hazy from last night, but it's a new dawn. Yeah, yeah, yeah. blackout, 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 blackout. We'll be falling, falling. Blackout, 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 blackout. We'll be falling, falling. Blackout, 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 blackout. We'll be falling, falling.
And there we go. There's one tiny little thing. And I think this bit here. Again, these strings can be more dynamic. And there we go. Well, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. It's been great. And I think if I can find the time tomorrow, there should be another stream, but I just don't know what time. So I'm just trying to fit them in whenever. But I'm trying to like enjoy sort of lying in the mornings. Getting some of those vibes in here. Cool. Yeah, thanks, D-Rich. That's great. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with Sharon's vocals. I mean, it's just the rough one. There'll be there's a few repairs to do to it. But you know, it's come together so far pretty good. Got to get the shit show lyric in on that first verse, that's for sure. Instead of the bro lyric. But apart from that, it's all coming together quite good. I've got some tom fills to put in. Might not even need them. There's one place I want to certainly put them in. I've got these Simmons toms that I really want to use. So I'm going to put those in, and I think that's it. I think we're up to some sort of like mix. It was certainly in the done phase anyway. So I'll probably keep, I think tomorrow on the stream will be maybe adding the fills in if I haven't already done that. So tomorrow I'll be adding the fills, and then I'll start going through and kind of tidying it up. I think this track already sounds good, so I need to be careful with what I do on the mix, and there's a few traps on this because I said I would never ever use that vaporwave kick drum ever again. I had to use it on this track because it just sounded right. But I'll just have to be careful on that low end what I do. But I think with the mixing on this, it's just, you know, there's a few frequencies I need to get rid of, but other than that, I think it just, you know, it'll not take much because the vibe's there, so it'll be interesting. Yeah, I have. It's pretty good, my vision, I must admit. I've been lucky. Yeah. So I'm, you know, I'm not onto a big screen yet. All right, guys. So that's it for today. I'm gonna head off because the missus or the singer of this track wants to go out in the car, which means I don't know. We'll probably do something really rock and roll, like get some shopping in, something like that. Argue. Forced to go in a clothes shop. I'm made to try clothes on that I don't want to wear at Christmas. Like there's always this thing at Christmas where I'm like forced to try and wear a shirt, and I just cannot deal with it. I hate shirts. Like, you know, like a proper shirt where you button it up so I look nice and smart if I go anywhere. So, you know, that could be what's in store for me. Could be a trap, guys. All right then. So I hopefully see you all tomorrow, and yeah, just keep well, providing you've pushed the bell on the channel, then you'll get notified when the next one is. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.